Once I learned about Stoicism, I immediately fell in love with that philosophy, and I tattooed myself the face of Marcus Aurelius on my leg, who at the time of his death was one of the most powerful people on earth. My favorite words from him are: waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. So true, so strong. And actually, without even knowing that it's so closely related to Stoicism, I already had one of the most famous Stoic sayings tattooed on my arm from a couple of years ago. Memento mori, which is translated from Latin to English as remember that you must die. An interesting fact related to that is that I tattooed it because my name in ancient Greek means immortal, and I just wanted to be able to remind myself every single day that no matter my name, I am going to die one day. Matter of fact, being aware of that, it's not a bad thing. It shouldn't be something negative or depressing. In fact, if you want to have the happiest and most fulfilling life possible, you need to realize that you're going to die one day. You gotta embrace it and start living the way you actually want, and do the things that makes you happy and satisfied. Also, I bought the life-changing book by Ryan Holiday called The Daily Stoic, 366 meditation on wisdom, perseverance and the art of living. I'm reading a page every day, first thing in the morning, and so far that's one of the best decisions ever in my life. Now, get ready because you're about to get hooked on Stoic wisdom. What's up guys, it's Atanas here, your favorite health coach, and in today's video I will talk about the core beliefs of the philosophy of the ancient Stoics, who were some of the most powerful and wise men that ever lived. Stoicism. It's a philosophy designed to make us more resilient, happier, wiser and more virtuous. And as a result, better people, better parents and better professionals. Stoicism was originally known as Zenoism, after the founder Zeno of Citium. However, the name was soon dropped, likely because the ancient Stoics did not consider their founder Zeno to be the perfectly wise man, and to avoid the risk of the philosophy becoming a cult of personality. Since then, Stoicism has been a common thread through some of the history's great leaders. It has been practiced by kings, presidents, artists, writers or entrepreneurs like Zeno, Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Frederick the Great, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Adam Smith, John Stuart Mill and Theodore Roosevelt, just to name a few, were all influenced by the Stoic philosophy. We Stoics believe that virtue is the only good in human's life. Health, pleasure and wealth are neither good or bad, but merely as materials for virtue. Ancient and modern Stoics believe that everything works following nature. So to understand life, one must understand the rules of nature. We must be resilient about the things that we cannot control on our path of virtue. One must achieve mental toughness to be good and control the destructive desires. Let me now share with you the core 10 principles of Stoicism. If you want a smooth flow of life, live according to nature. Zeno's belief system says that we all have a purpose or a genius inside us who connects us to the nature of the universe. Those people who figure out how to keep that inner self and that universal nature in harmony end up happy. Stoics believe that we can save ourselves from human misery by doing that. Happiness isn't found in things, but in virtue alone. It's all about what we value and the choices we make. Stoics believe that virtue is the key to happiness, which involves moderating our aversion, impulses and desires to align them with virtue of self-control, meaning being able to differentiate and choose between worthy and unworthy things, right next to aiming for justice, kindness, fair dealing and good fellowship. We must stop believing that happiness consists in things and realize instead that it consists alone in virtuous living. We do not control external events, we only control our thoughts, opinions, decisions, and duties. The only things in our control are how we give reasons to form opinions about the truth and worth of things, and actually how we make our decisions based on the actions to do appropriate things. Being virtuous might be difficult, but can always lead to a happy life. The key is to make sure our self-interest do not override our morals. We've each been given all the inner resources we need to thrive. One of the biggest claims of Stoicism is to not miss life's positivity and joy. Stoics wanted to replace toxic emotions with good ones, rational wishes, cautions, and positivity like joy, gratitude, and love for other beings. We as human beings are not born to sin or corrupt ourselves in the battle of life. We must eliminate toxic emotions. Why hope, fear, and anger are always the worst strategies. Suppose we fail to remove all of the false beliefs and destructive emotions, we will develop anger, anxiety, fear, envy, and many other toxic states. Hope is not a strategy, but rather a nice knock-on, lack of planning, and a vague projection of our future planning and a toxic emotion. We are and must remain a unified self. We can't complain or blame anyone else. The Stoics believe in a unified, rational self. They took responsibility for maintaining that unity and would never support such thinking as the devil made me do it, or say it in more modern way, the alcohol made me do it, or any other form of laying the blame or responsibility elsewhere. Epictetus put it best when he said, "These things don't go together. You must be unified human being, either good or bad. You must diligently work either on your own reasoning or on things out of your control. Take a great care with what's inside and not what's outside, which is to say, stand with the philosopher or else with the mob. No man is an island, the Stoic golden rule." Try as we might to live in a world dominated by our own interests, we will suffer and fail to realize our humanity, unless we're consistently working to connect our sphere of concern with the concerns of others. Heracles offers a simple solution based on his ingenious model. We should try always to bring the outer circles closer to ourselves. That is, to treat family like you would yourself, to treat friend as you would family, to treat a fellow citizen as you would friend, to treat a countryman as a fellow citizen, and finally, to treat a foreigner as you would your own countryman. In all that we do, we should try to bring the circles closer to ourselves. No man is an island and none is untouchable. While we work on the things of... Shit. Whoa guys, the weather is crazy here. There is a thunderstorm and I simply cannot continue filming. Shit. I better continue tomorrow. Let me show you. Yesterday was a hell out of a thunderstorm over here and I simply couldn't continue filming because of the scary nature sound effects. But you know what? As a true Stoic, instead of sitting on the couch and texting to 5 people about how shitty the weather is and how miserable I am because I wasn't able to finish my video, I just decided to start working on some of my other tasks, and later that day I went for a run in the rain. Simply embracing life the way it is and not complaining about things that are not in my power. I cannot change the fucking weather, right? Then why even bother and investing my time into thinking about that? Okay, let's go to the next point. Our personal development is bound up in cooperation with others. No Stoic reflected this orientation in his writings more than the Emperor Marcus Aurelius. In his book, The Meditations, there are more than 80 references to the common good, a phrase that appears on nearly every page in his journal. Because Marcus knew the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, he wrote that every morning he would wake up and think about the troublesome people he could encounter that day, but then sternly remind himself that we are all made for cooperation. Elsewhere, he would write, whenever you have the trouble getting up in the morning, remind yourself that you've been made by nature for the purpose of working with others. That's a very powerful mantra to carry us through each day. Persist and resist. It's all about the progress, not perfection. The Stoics saw the art of living as a process of continuous improvement. They believed in the progress, not perfection. No matter our roles and duties, no matter the obstacles and difficulties we face, they reminded us that there is always a deeper work going on. As we make progress in our various endeavors and encounter setbacks, we're constantly improving ourselves, thinking through things better, learning to anticipate trouble, choosing to act in a more virtuous way, and eliminating toxic emotions. While we never get there fully, our progress brings peace and stability to our lives and benefits to everyone around us. In this activity, we learn to turn words into works, crises into characters, and challenges into opportunities to do and be good. As Marcus said, the fruit of this life is a good character and acts for the common good. Amor Fati. Love everything that happens. As Epictetus wrote, seek not for the events to happen as you wish, but rather wish for events to happen as they do, and your life will go smoothly. This is actually another one of my favorite quotes. For me, it's one of the ingredients for a happy and a joyful life. Let's say something happened and we wish had not. Now, which is possible to change, our opinion or the event itself? The answer, of course, it's obvious. The event lies in the past and cannot be changed, but our opinion can. And this brings us to the place that we can accept what happened and change our wish that it had not happened. Stoics calls this the art of acquiescence, to accept rather than fight every little thing. So my friends, this is the key focus of Stoic philosophy and what sets it apart from all other types of philosophy, which tend to focus on argumentation and verbal one-upmanship. Philosophy, Seneca wrote, isn't for pointing out the faults in others, it's for scrapping off our own faults. Persist and resist, the courage and perseverance to keep moving towards what is good, and the self-control and awareness to resist what is bad. These simply are the ingredients for freedom, in my opinion. Here are 2 book recommendations from me. If you want to learn more about Stoic philosophy, they might be really helpful. For this one, I've been already talking about in the video, and as I said, it's called The Daily Stoic, 366 Meditations on Wisdom, Perseverance and the Art of Living. It's written by Ryan Holiday, the other one is also written by him. And with this one, it's pretty cool because I'm reading a page every single day. As you can see, I have a pencil here and I'm just reading 1 page per day. I started at the 5th of August. Normally the book, it starts from 1st of January, but I just started my Stoic journey from 5th of August and I just decided to mark all the time there the day that I'm reading, so I'm not going to miss a day. And I'm carrying this book everywhere with me. Doesn't matter, whenever I fly or I travel to different city, different places, I'm always having this book in my backpack. So yeah, highly recommend this one. And the other book, it's also by Ryan Holiday and it's called Ego is the Enemy. I haven't read it yet until the end because I just bought it a couple of weeks ago, but I would say that so far I got a lot of good learnings out of it. So yeah, highly recommend those 2 books, guys. If you want to dive deep into the Stoic philosophy, this could be something for you. Thank you for sticking with me until the end, guys. I'm looking forward to hearing what's your intake on Stoicism and knowing if you're considering becoming one yourself. Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe for the channel. I'll see you next time with another informative video. Until then, take care, stay productive, stay wise, and calm. Goodbye.